So everything seems like it's going wonderfully with the avoidant. And then all of a sudden, they start to pull away. You ask them if everything's okay. They tell you everything's just fine, but you can feel the distance. They're not being as affectionate. They're not responding to you as much. Their messages are cold. They're talking to you as if you're an acquaintance. They're canceling plans on you. So what do? In your mind, you don't want to lose what you thought you had, but this person is clearly going cold on you, and you have no clue as to why. First, take a step back. Chasing them, it only pushes them further away, but it really sends you a negative message. When you're chasing them, trying to seek reassurance, to bring them back into the relationship, reactivate them, you're sending yourself the message that you need to earn their love, that you need to convince them to be with you, that you need to cater to them to prove to them that you're good enough to love. It's a negative message to send yourself. But secondly, ask yourself this question. Do you really want to be in a relationship with a person who is not communicating with you? A person that clearly has something on their mind, something bothering them, some sort of worry or anxiety, but they're not telling you, and instead, they're leaving you in the dark. This is a person that is not empathizing with how it must feel to be in your shoes. Because if they were, they'd be communicating with you, they'd be talking to you, they'd be considering your perspective. They wouldn't just pull away. They wouldn't just disappear. They wouldn't ghost you for days because they would be aware that this would create anxiety in you, but they're not considering you. So ask yourself, is this the type of relationship that you want to get into? And if the answer is no, that you don't want a relationship where your partner randomly disappears on you and pulls away without any explanation, then you have to hold a boundary. Boundaries being your limits of what you want, what you don't want, what you need, what you don't need, what you'll tolerate, what you won't tolerate, and what your expectations are. If you want a relationship where you both communicate with each other when something is bothering you, then you have to hold the boundary and simply say something along the lines of, hey, I noticed that there's been some distance between us and I really haven't heard much from you. Communication is something that's really important to me, and it's something that I really need in a relationship. If something is bothering you, if something's going on, it's important to me that we communicate with each other. If this is something that doesn't work for you, then unfortunately this relationship wouldn't work for me. And hold the line, because you're respecting yourself when you're doing so, and you're setting your limits, because that way you're not going to wind up in this long-term push-pull relationship. You're not going to allow yourself to be strung along and have your heart played like a yo-yo. You are actually going to be respecting your worth and your needs in the relationship. But if you allow it, you walk on eggshells, you try to win them back into the relationship in one way, shape, or form or another, you're sending yourself the message that A, this is okay to do to you, and B, that you need to earn their love, which only pushes you further down the road of anxious attachment. Of course you're going to feel anxiety when they're pulling away. Even securely attached people do. But when you hold the boundary, you are doing the most secure thing that you possibly can. And yes, they might not respect your boundary and they might leave the relationship. But if they do, they're telling you that they were never going to meet your expectations, they were never concerned about your experience, and they were never going to try to respect your boundaries. Part of emotional availability is the ability and the willingness to empathize with your partner, to share their feelings, to care about their perspective, wants, and needs. They're pulling away and not communicating. They're only thinking of themselves. And whatever it is that they feel, fear, or need in the moment, they're not considering you and they're not empathizing with you. They're not emotionally available to you. You deserve somebody that would give you the same energy, effort, and communication in return. A person that would care about your feelings the way you care about theirs. Don't sell yourself short. Hold boundaries with the avoidant.